Step number 3 of the same example that we are already doing. Right. Step number 3, that is load calculation. How to calculate different loads, that is shear force, bending moment. These are the main loads that we are concerned about. Right. So first, let us calculate the load that is coming on our slab, that is dead load. This is the first load that is coming on structure. So there are two types of dead load mainly. First one is self-weight of the slab, and second one is the floor finish load. So how to calculate the self-weight of the slab? So self-weight of the slab is generally calculated using the formula, that is area into density. Area of a slab multiplied by density. One more thing you need to consider here is whenever we are doing the design of a slab, we are going to do it design for a 1 meter strip, right? 1 meter strip we are doing the design. So area of a 1 meter slab we are considering here. Okay. So length multiplied by depth. So length is 1 meter multiplied by what is the overall depth of our slab, capital D, that we calculated in the first step. Right. So capital D was I think 115 mm. Right. So here we are calculating in terms of kilonewton per meter load. So we need to convert that into meters. So 0.115 multiplied by density of concrete. So formula was area into density. So this is area 1 multiplied by 0.115, that is 1 meter length multiplied by thickness. Right. So area multiplied by density. So density of concrete that is given in the data. If not given, you need to consider it as 25 kilonewton per meter cube. Right. So if you find this answer will come out to be 2.875. 2.875. The unit will be kilonewton per meter, because this is a meter square and this will be kilonewton per meter cube. So ultimately the unit will be kilonewton per meter. Alright. So per meter of slab, this much load is acting due to self weight of the slab, 2.875. Second load that is we need to consider in dead load is floor finish. Right. Floor finish, if you see the data, it is given as 1 kilonewton per meter square. This is area load given. We need to convert this into per meter length, because we are doing the design of 1 meter only. So multiply by 1 meter. So this comes out to be 1 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so this is my floor finish load. So if you do the total of both this, total dead load will be 3.875 kilonewton per meter. Right? This is total dead load, 3.875 kilonewton per meter. Now we need to factor this load. So let's do it like this. So factor dead load. So how to do the factor of the in RCC? Factor of safety for loading is 1.5. So we need to multiply that by 1.5 multiplied by 3.875. So which comes out to be 5.81 kilonewton per meter. This is the factored dead load. Right. This is factor of safety for loading. For RCC, we consider this factor of safety as 1.5. Same way, let's go to the live load. So in live load, if you read the data, for typical floor, live load is given as 4 kilonewton per meter square. 4 kilonewton per meter square multiplied by 1 meter, which comes out to be 4 kilonewton per meter. Again, we need to factor this live load. So factored live load will be again 1.5 multiplied by 4, which comes out to be 6 kilonewton per meter. 6 kilonewton per meter. So this is how we calculated the dead load and live load. This is totally based on the data given to us, or the first step, that is the size of slab that we have found out. Right. So this is how you can calculate your loadings, that is dead load and live load. Right. Mainly based on the data given. Right. Next load that we need to consider is, based on these loads we need to calculate shear force and bending moments. So for calculating bending moments, we need to visualize this loading as a continuous slab. So I have drawn a continuous slab which is a section of our building plan. Right, so this is A, B, C, D and so on. Right, I have taken a section. The span is 2.86. This 2.86 is nothing but effective length that we have calculated in the previous step. Right, effective length, and the loading that is been shown here, this UDL, is combination of dead load and live load. So how much was the dead load? Dead load was 5.81 kilonewton per meter, that is a unit of UDL, and the live load is 6 kilonewton per meter. Right, so this is how the loading has been there. Now we have a continuous slab which having the loading of dead load as 5.81 and live load as 6 kilonewton per meter. After getting to this point, we need to calculate bending moment coefficients. Next, we need to calculate bending moment coefficient, and this bending moment coefficients are given in IS code, IS 456-2000, page number 36, table number 12. So let's go to that page, IS 456-2000, page number 36, table number 12. So let's go to that page. This is the page and this is the table number 12. Bending moment coefficients. Right, there are two types of coefficient given, that is type of load is dead load and imposed load. Second is imposed load not fixed. Right, two types of loading, dead load, that is self weight and all those stuff. Second is imposed load, means live load. So dead load coefficient and live load coefficient. In that also there are two separate columns. One is the span moment, second is the support moment. We'll understand this on the figure, but for the moment just go through the table. In span moments we have two different types of things. First is near middle of end span and second is at middle of interior span. Similarly, in support moments also we have two different values for at support next to end support and at other interior support. Now let us see how to apply this stuff on our example. So let's go back to the board. So now as you can see on the board that I have written these values of A, B, C, D, E. Those all are, if you can see here, A, B, C, D, E are all the support points. These are the supports. Right, these are all support points. Right, A, B, C, D are the support points, and F, G, H, I are the middle span. F, G, H, I are the middle span. So prepare a table like this: A, B, C, D, E, and H, G, H, I. Right, F, G, H, I. Right. So we need to identify the support moment and span moment. So at A point or B point, C point, D point, E point, this is called, if we find out moment at this point, this is called support moments. Right, this all the arrows that I am showing here on the table point, these are all support moments. Right, and these circles that I am doing, all these are span moments. So as from the table it is clear what is support moment and what is span moment. Right, so first we are going to find the moment at point B. So let us see where the point B is. Right, and let us compare this point with the values given or the namings given in the IS code. Let's go back to IS code. So if you see your IS code here, first we are finding the support moment. So we need to see this part that I have highlighted. This is support moment. Now in this there are 2 points: at support, next to end support, at other interior support. Now let us identify whether our point B is coming under which category, whether it is at support, next to end support, or it is at other interior supports. So let's go back to the board and let us see. So this is my end support, this is my end support, point A is my end support. So what will be my point B? Point B is support next to end support, right? This is end support, this is next to end support, right? So that comes out to be first column. So let's go back to IS code. So this is at support next to end support, so we need to consider this coefficient for point B. As I have written here, this is minus 1 by 10 and minus 1 by 9, which is coming from this point at support next to end support, right? This is the thing that is been required. Now let us identify the second point, that is after B there is point C. First we complete the support points, then we go to the span points. So next point is point C. Now can anyone identify what is point C, whether it is at next to end support or it is at other interior supports? So this is my point C, this is my point C here. Whether it is next to end support is here, or whether it is a other interior support. So it comes to be other interior support, and for that the values will be minus 1 by 12 and minus 1 by 9. So let's go to the code again and verify. So this is minus 1 by 12 and minus 1 by 9, right? These values are for point C. Same way, if you see point D, it is again at other interior supports, right? So point D also same value will come. For point D also, this is point D also minus 1 by 12 and minus 1 by 9. Similarly for point E also minus 1 by 12 and minus 1 by 9. Now someone will say, sir, E point is the end point, D is next to end point. No, this is a continuous frame. I have not drawn full length of frame, right? So these are the interior support points, right? So up to point E, minus 1 by 12, minus 1 by 9. So as per our table, we have calculated all the bending moment coefficient for all support points. Next, we need to calculate bending moment coefficient for all the span point, that is the circle points F, G, H and I. So let us see how it is coming. Let us consider point F. First we consider point F. Now let us go back to code and what is given for span moments. So for span moment, it is mentioned here, in that there are two parts, near middle of end span and second is at middle of interior span. Near middle of end span and at middle of interior span. So point F, this point F, whether it is near middle of end span or whether it is middle of interior span. So of course it is near middle of end span. So for near middle of end span, let us see what is the value given in the code. Near middle of end span, the values are 1 by 12 and 1 by 10. So let us see what I have written on the board. For point F, it is plus 1 by 12 and plus 1 by 10. Similarly, if we see point G, now it will be easier for you to identify what is the value for point G. So let's go back to code. Point G, it will be at middle of interior support. So the values are plus 1 by 16 and plus 1 by 12. So let us see, plus 1 by 16 and plus 1 by 12. Yes, correct, right? Plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 12. Similarly, point H is also similar to point G. Point H is also similar to point G. So the values will remain identical, plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 12. Similarly, point I is also same as G and H. So the values will remain same, right? Now only point remaining to identify the values are point A. Right? This value will not find in the IS code for point A. So if I want to calculate the value for point A, and there is a thumb rule, right? We need to multiply these values by 1/2 and with opposite sign. Multiply these values by 1/2 with opposite sign. So here it will become minus 1 by 24 and minus 1 by 20. Minus 1 by 24 and minus 1 by 20, or it is almost nearer to 0. You can keep it as almost nearer to 0 also. Why? Because this is a simple support. At the ends it will be simple support. Here it will be fixed or continuous support where moments can be transferred. But at the ends, if it is simply supported slab, the moments will not get transferred. Right? So bending moment will generally be 0. Right? If you want to take it as 0, you can take it as 0 also. So this is how you can calculate the bending moment coefficients. Now, very important thing to be noticed here, that why these values are negative at the supports and why these values are positive at span. If you can observe, all the values at supports are negative and all the values at spans are positive. So the reason behind that is that if you draw the bending moment diagram, something looks like this and so on. Right? So there is a tension at the bottom. There is a tension at the bottom, or you can say sagging bending moment. And here at the support, there is a tension at top, or say hogging bending moment. Right? So generally we take sagging bending moment as positive and hogging bending moment as negative. Another technical term in this regards is that you may heard about these words as positive steel and negative steel. Right? So whatever steel you are going to provide at span, it is called positive steel, and whatever steel you are going to provide at support, it is called negative steel, because the bending moment will be at the top of the section. Right? The tension will be at the top of the section. So wherever there is tension, we are supposed to provide the steel bars. Right? So that is the reason why we are bending up our steel bars at the supports in slab. Right? To incorporate for this tension that is coming due to the hogging bending moment at top. Right? So this is how you calculate the bending moment coefficients as per IS 456-2000, page number 36, table number 12. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you guys, and thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and see you in the next lecture. In that we will calculate actual bending moment values, that how much bending moments are coming using this bending moment coefficient values.